I grew up in a lifestyle where my mother was a Christian, my father wasn't. I lived the lifestyle as a teenager, drugs, sex, party lifestyle. As I got older, teenager, I got into the gang lifestyle and drug dealing lifestyle, and that's when I caught my case. I was a gang leader, and I ended up taking someone's life and spent many, many years in prison. While I was in prison, I did this soul searching. I did a lot of research on that Bible to discredit it because I was trying to find an excuse not to serve Christ. This priest used to come visit me, and he's actually from Notre Dame, Joe Ross. And I never forget this guy because he'd come visit me, and he never preached to us. I was feeling conviction without him even preaching to me. He was showing love. He goes, I feel it's better if me started trying to prove Christ through the Bible, that I'm better off trying to prove Christ by acting and loving like Christ did. And that's the day he planted the seed. After I got out, I got more involved in my art. I got in this business of tattooing. Last year, the mother of my kids left me. I was a bad man. And I remember there was a girl that I met named Alexis. And I've known her for years. She used to come to my shop and get tattooed, and she was a party girl. And I remember that she became a Christian and became a missionary, and I would usually go to her for advice. And then when this finally happened, I called her up, and she gave me Pastor Muta's phone number. I called Pastor Muta, and that's when I gave my life to the Lord over the phone. I got baptized April the 30th. 100% of the people that walk in through this door don't come in here expecting to be ministered to. Pastor Muta used to say this. He says, this is your church. This is where you minister. Lord's going to use you. And he is so right, because a lot of these people that would never even hear about, they won't turn the radio on, listen to a Christian program. They won't turn the TV. They'll definitely won't walk into church. But sometimes they get stuck with me 4 or 5 hours, and they hear that ministry. They hear that testimony. They hear how God's working in my life. I believe the Lord want me to do more than tattoo, and I think he wants me to be a fisherman of men. If I used to walk boldly and confident when I was living for Satan and living in the world, how much more should I walk boldly that I now have a backup? The Heavenly Father's my backup now. I used to always think to myself, my daughters, I want them to be rich and famous. You know what now? I want my daughters to be saved. I'd rather them be poor and happy, but saved, because I know what they're saved, they're going to spend eternity with me and God. That means more than me anything else. I care less if they're rich or famous anymore. You know what I mean? I care more about their salvation. Why? Because eternity is eternity. It's not 1,000 years, it's not 1,000,000 years, it's not 1,000,000,000 years, it's forever. I don't want my girls suffering in hell. I've been in prison 18 years. I know what suffering is. There was a time, like I said, I was speaking certain things, seeing certain things, hearing certain things, doing certain things that I was exposing my kids to, and as a worldly man. And then now as a godly man, they're now exposed to God, to church. You know, one of my daughters said to me, this one here, we were praying at dinner time, and this was probably 3 months after I'd been saved. She says, Daddy, why haven't we always been doing this? Because they believe in prayer. They believe that God hears, they pray. They know how to pray now. When I was growing up, I tried to impress my dad before I would impress the president, before I tried to impress my friends, before I would try to impress anyone in high school, any public figure. It was my dad that I wanted to impress more than ever. Even though, in whatever it took to impress him, being in the gang, being tough, being this, I try to do that to impress my dad. Now I got a different father now, and I try to impress. And I'm not just doing it to impress him, but I'm saying to live for it. And I understand that he sees me. So a lot of my everything revolves around how he sees what I should do, what the Father wants me to do, the Heavenly Father.